Welcome to the Faster, Easier, Better show with your hosts LeeSilber and Ellen Goodwin.
Welcome to another episode of the Faster, Easier, Better show. I'm your co-host, Ellen Goodwin, along with my co-host,
LeeSilber.
Hey, Lee.
I'm excited. It's going to be great. I get to interview you.
On our last episode, I interviewed Lee so we could learn a little bit more about him, and now the tables have turned. So,
have they ever?
All right. I'm ready whenever you are.
Normally, as someone who's interviewed a lot of people, I'll start with a softball question just to win your trust. But no, I don't want to do it that way. I want to put you on the hot seat from the beginning until the end. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I think no one's ever said this before, but I think there's been some people who wondered, are they a couple? You know what I mean?
Oh, God, no.
I know, but we just have this good chemistry, right?
Right.
So you're married.
I am married.
And so from what I gather, your husband is more of your opposite. Is that true?
Yes, my husband is very OCD about things. And
that's what I want to talk about.
And I have no CD, and he has OCD.
Well, let's talk about it. How does that work? Give me an example of where your two styles are different, and how you, first of all, maybe it was a problem and then you've found a way to make it work, because you've been together for almost 10 years.
Yeah. So he sees things I don't, as far as let's say in the kitchen, there's things that I'm like, I'm okay with this, this sitting on the counter and it's not a terrible thing. And he's like, oh my God, no, this has to move. And, which is fine. I mean, we did have some things in the beginning. I used to, before he even lived with me, I would read the Wall Street Journal every morning, and I would, stand up at the counter, probably not the best thing to do, but stand up and read and eat. And then I would just have the paper there in a pile. So like, oh, if I was going to eat the next time and I wanted to go back and look at, he called that, he had this perfect name that it was like, it could be my spontaneous ignition pile, that it could, it was a lot of paper that could go up in flames. Not for any reason it was going to go up in flames, but for him, that made him crazy. And now, okay, I don't have that there anymore. So he sees things I don't.
So, a lot of people, now, I would say everybody has their own way of loading a dishwasher. Do you two share the same philosophy on that, or is it completely different?
I have come around to his way of putting in the dishwasher. Number one, we have a very small house, so we have a 3/4 size dishwasher. So it's not the full size. So there's very limited things that can go in, and to preserve domestic tranquility, I just do it the way he does.
And this will be my last question related to this, because I find it fascinating. This is really interesting. Because I do opposites attract, but yeah, that's the saying. But the reality is you got to live with that person. Yeah, I'm attracted you, but I don't know if this is ever going to work because I'm OCD or no-CD.
Right.
What about time, like managing time and things like that, or traveling, vacation?
Oh, well, he is retired military, so he is of the, if you're on time, you're late. You're always early for things, which wasn't always, I would never be late for things, but I was never like the whole, we're going to be there 10 minutes early because that means we're on time. But now I've come around to that. Traveling was, first getting used to that, like who, when we could travel, like, do you get on the airplane right away? Are you like one of those people who wants to get on last?
Right.
Yeah. And he's more of a last person kind of thing. And I was always like, I want to get on there, get settled. So
interesting. I would have thought it'd be the other way around. Huh.
No.
Interesting. Okay. We've learned a lot, actually. So that's about you and Chris. What about on your own? What is the thing that you that you love doing the most? What's your favorite thing to do?
Eat? No. I love to read. I'm a big reader. And Chris isn't. I don't know that this is about Chris, but I love to read. And so I've always got at least a couple books going. I mean, right now I have 2 business books I'm reading, plus a mystery. I know there's something else on my Kindle. I like to read hardcover or, actual books more than a Kindle. But yes, reading. I love to read.
I mean, it's no surprise that the smartest people are readers. And what I've noticed between the two of us, I'll say, my brain hurts. And you'll say, well, that's a malfarking, you have the medical term for it. So you are smarter than me. And I'm sure reading has a big part to do with it. So you asked me the question, what was my all-time favorite book? And so I'll ask you the same question. I think that's interesting. It tells a lot about books.
Books. Well, the War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. And it talks about resistance. And he is talking about in resistance in light of being a writer and the whole sitting down and writing. But resistance is procrastination, which, as you know, I like to talk about all the time. And it's just putting a name to that part of your brain that says, no, I don't want to do that. But in order to be a writer, in his estimation, is you have to overcome that resistance, and you have to overcome it every single day. And I mean, he wrote the Legend of Bagger Vance. So he's written screenplays and movies. It's a quick book. You could even read it. But I read it every year, just like, the one you're talking about. I read it every year, and I'll use a different color Sharpie each year. And it's getting very colorful, but it's such a great book. And it doesn't just apply to writing. It applies to anything that we want to do in life. And it's just how you deal with that procrastination, that resistance.
Wow. One thing that we both have kind of experienced as graphic artists, as was our, things kind of changed, right? How was that transition for you when you went from graphic artist to being more of a trainer, that's maybe not the right word, a consultant, to coach, a helper of others? How did you make it through that transition?
It took a while because there was that identity of like, hey, I'm a graphic designer, but here I'm helping people in a different way. I'm using the information I know to help people that aren't figuring it out. We've talked about, my book is how to work when no one's watching, because you and I both work when no one's watching, and yet we make it happen. And to be able to help others. I mean, you've said this, that when you realize it's about helping other people, it just changes everything. Doing graphic design was, here's this one person, and this is going to help them do, they're going to have this sale, and it's going to be awesome. But when you can help someone and change their life so that they're actually getting stuff done, that they're at the end of the day, they're going, oh my God, I got all of my stuff done. And now I have time to go surfing or go for a bike ride or hang out with my family. That changes everything. And it changes how I feel and what I could do for people.
Oh, I didn't know you surf.
It's been a long time since I got on a surfboard.
That's cool. One thing I admire about you, of the many things I admire, is that you are able to be a part of a mastermind group where you get help, but you give help. How important is it to have a group of people that you trust, that you can turn to share ideas, to talk about your challenges, to just kind of commiserate and also get through it with solutions? How important is that for your success?
Oh, I think it is incredibly important. For one, I know that I see these people each week, and we can talk about problems we might be having, and they are like my board of directors. And it's, as someone who works by myself, knowing that someone's out there. I mean, it's not like we go into an office and work. And so these are my coworkers, and I love it. I love what I get from them. I value the information. They come from all different walks of life, and it's empowering.
Well, I have a million more questions, but we'll have to save it for another time. That was fun. I know. I could see your face on this call. I got you a couple times.
Yeah, you did.
I know. That was great. That made my day.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys for listening to the Faster, Easier, Better show. As always, please subscribe, like, and review, and be with us again next week for another episode.